Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about something called shadow people. And this is an example of what shadow people look like. And I can promise you that these people are real. I mean, the visions are real. I don't necessarily know that the people are real, but the visions are real. Um, it pretty much says that like scientifically, on a scientific approach, the shadow people can be from people that are having delirium or paranoia. People with anxiety can have this and feelings of impending doom. People that are in a state of psychosis can see shadow people. People that have sleep deprivation or have sleep paralysis, they can have said that they see the shadow people. But scientifically, doctors and scientists say that the reason that these people see the shadow people is because of those states that they are in. It's been known that they see the shadow people out of their peripheral vision, or they can see them if they're in a very deep state. They can see them straight ahead. Now, the question is, are the scientists right? Are the shadow people just a figment of these people in these states of delirium or psychosis? Is it a figment of their imagination because they're in those states? Or are these shadow people actually real? And, people that are in a state of psychosis, is one part of their brain shutting off and another part's opening up to that spirit world, and they're able to see the spirits that are normally surrounding us that we can't normally see? Personally, in my belief, what I just told you is my opinion. That is what I pretty much came up with, because I believe that there are spirits on this earth, whether they are good or bad. They are here on this earth. Some are here to protect us, some are here to warn us, some are here to guide us, some are here to lead us down the wrong path. Now, I don't really, the thing is why shadow people? If they're not real, if they're just a figment of the imagination, why shadow people? Why not something totally different? We do know, and it has been proven, that there is life on other planets. Now, I'm not saying that it's aliens or anything like that, but I'm just saying, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. We do know that, there are spirits on this earth. So, scientifically, I understand where they're coming from, because they're looking at it as like, oh, they have a brain chemistry, imbalance. Okay, so maybe it is a brain chemistry imbalance at that time, but they have a imbalance on that part of the area. So maybe another part opens up, because that part's unbalanced, so another part opens up and they're able to see things, in the spirit world. That is my belief. Scientific mumbo jumbo, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So what that they prove that? That doesn't mean that it is a figment of the imagination. That does not mean that. It just means that they can't scientifically prove that another part of the brain has opened up to the spirit world. So that's my opinion on shadow people. If anybody else has any different opinions, that would be great. But let me see if there's anything else that that could maybe change my mind. I don't think so. Me personally, I have had I've gone through an experience where I was in postpartum depression, and it went into postpartum psychosis, and I did admit myself to get help for that. And obviously everybody knows that postpartum psychosis is something that can happen after you have a baby. And it's something that can happen, and you can't help it. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a lifelong problem. It just means after you have a baby, that can happen, and you have to get treatment for it. And once you get treatment for it, it will never happen again, unless you have another child. It could happen, but it's not supposed to ever happen again, because it's just something that happens because your hormones get out of whack, blah blah blah. So anyway, it can put someone into a state of psychosis, and that's what happened. And I did see the shadow people. I did. And so I experienced it firsthand. Yes, I was in a state of psychosis. Okay. There you go. But I did see the shadow people. I never saw them straight on. It was just like, in my peripheral vision, you could see them walking by. You could see them moving in the peripheral vision, and they were people. But it's just like, the shadows. Sometimes, like, you could see them, running by. Now, of course, I was in the, hospital at this time, and there were other patients there in the hospital too. So I was receiving energy, in my state, I was receiving energy off of other patients. So, shadow people are not necessarily bad. Just because they're a shadow and they're dark does not mean that they're bad.